Crystals can be dig. Crystals can be dig. Crystals can be dig. Crystals can be dig.
Crystals?
If crystals can be dig, they can find some pearls. I just think of a song, so crystals can dig. They are digged in the ground somewhere, maybe where a polar bear is. I just love diamonds.
One of the most amazing 3-minute sequence of events I ever witnessed happened at a freshman college house party. My friends and I were standing by a bike rack on the poorly lit side of the house having a smoke when I just happened to notice someone walking up the long driveway. Whoever he was stumbling drunk and looked none too happy. A dog ran up to greet him, and he nearly tripped over it. Visibly upset, he sideswiped the dog with his foot as it passed, mumbling obscenities. The dog yelped and ran off. The kid was headed right for us around the side of the house, and not being able to see in the darkness, he fell face first into the iron bar of the bike rack. We helped him up, and he assured us he was okay, but as we brought him into the light, we could see that blood was streaming from his mouth. It took us a minute to convince him to at least go inside and check out his mouth in the bathroom, but we finally got through his inebriated haze, and he headed in. The girls we were with thought it would be a good idea to follow him to make sure he was okay. It wasn't more than half a minute later that he came barging out of the door, completely belligerent. A few guys from the party followed him out to the porch, full of testosterone, watching him closely, making sure he was headed away from the party. As he was headed down the driveway, he ran into the side mirror of a car, and it almost knocked him off balance. He must have taken this as a personal vendetta against him, and, in a repeat of the dog incident, he kicked the car as hard as he could in his current state. One of the guys on the porch yelled back to the house, "He's messing with your car!" Just then, the whole party started streaming out of the house, led by a short fireball of a girl yelling at the top of her lungs. The party followed her out to the street as she yelled at the drunk kid in defense of her personal property. She was pushing him, beating him, yelling obscenities, as the rest of the party gathered around in a circle. You could tell that the guys in the party were eager for him to push her back, or even say the wrong thing, so they could have the justification for kicking the crap out of him. He ended up stumbling away, and the party went back inside to avoid gathering attention from the cops. As it turned out, when our friends had escorted the bleeding drunk inside, someone immediately piped up, "Dude, what happened to you?" "I got in a fight," he said. "No you didn't," said our friends loudly. "You fell on the bike rack." And everyone within earshot, which turned out to be a lot of people, burst out in laughter. Angry and embarrassed to be caught in a lie, he stormed out of the house, swinging the door wildly as he went. Now, I'm not a proponent of karma, but it wasn't 3 minutes in between kicking the dog and the whole party booting this guy to the street. We ought not to judge places too harshly. Places, like people, are much too complex and varied to apply blanket statements about. After spending just less than an hour driving through Detroit, I remember a young man I worked with making all sorts of declarations about the economy, the politics, and the people of the city, even though he'd never been there before. I remember thinking that that was a lot to extrapolate for a 45-minute drive on a highway or two. I remember staying in Lynchburg, Virginia for a week and a half and just loathing it. Not to be confused with Lynchburg, home of the Jack Daniels distillery. Lynchburg, Virginia is a town of about 70,000, home to Jerry Falwell's Liberty University. I had such a poor time there that a few years later, when I saw I was scheduled to work there for 3 weeks, I almost threw a fit. I warned my coworker to prepare himself, but as it turned out, we ended up having a great time. Being in a different hotel, interacting with different people, made all the difference. And I realized that everyone's experience is so unique, and those experiences are interwoven all in one place. It was obvious to me that I owed Lynchburg an apology. With that said, I don't believe that places are in themselves blank slates that people impress their experiences upon. Places definitely have their own distinct flavors, their own personalities that, like an overbearing presence at a party, has the ability to affect everyone else around them for better or for worse. Describing or capturing that personality is not an easy thing to do. For instance, say I asked you to take a picture of me. A pretty simple task. But then, say I asked you to take a picture of my personality. Not as simple. But that's what great artists seem to be able to do, to see that ephemeral quality of a person, object, or place, and show it back to us. Now, I am not a photographer, a painter, a wordsmith, or otherwise, and I've known artists, and I can say without a trace of modesty that I am certainly not that. But I have seen moments, minuscule little moments or interactions that have summed up the whole of a place, the way no painting or photograph could. Here are just a few of these moments, and the places that they sum up. Standing on a sidewalk in Beverly Hills and watching from a distance, a beautiful, 6-foot-tall, 20-year-old woman walk towards you with all her shopping bags from Prada and Ralph Lauren and so on. Dressed to the nines with hair done up, high heels, fake boobs and all. As she gets closer, you reassess and figure on second thought, maybe she's 30. And as she keeps walking, you see that her skin is pulled back just a little too tight. Her lips are a little bit too full, but only in places. Her stomach looks unnaturally flat for her body, and you realize that she must be in her 40s or 50s. And that age keeps rising the closer she gets to you, and you see that only parts of her face move when she changes her expression. And as she passes you, you see in between all the cracks down to a woman, not a day under 60, who, despite all of the plastic surgery, cannot hide an unwavering frown behind her mask. While I was working at a cafe on the edge of Santa Monica and Venice, near the beach, a regular came in and ordered 8 chocolate macaroons. She was about 40, had big fake boobs, and a dark, leathery tan. She was loud and a bit obnoxious when she ordered. I was new there, and we weren't really familiar with each other yet. "Is that all?" I asked. "Yeah," she replied. "I'm eating for 2 now." "Oh," I said, not really interested, but still trying to be polite. "Congratulations." "Yeah," she said, nearly shouting, while stuffing a macaroon down her mouth and walking out the door. "But only till Tuesday. I'm getting an abortion." On the L platform waiting for my train, I hear a loud noise. The platform seems to be shaking, and the noise is getting louder. Coming down the platform, I see a Chicago Transit Authority worker walking down the wooden platform, dragging a mallet behind him. Pieces of the wooden platform are flying up behind him like a shower of sparks from a wooden sparkler. If only he would pick it up near the mallet head and carry it. It would be so much lighter without the resistance, and he wouldn't be damaging city property. But it's 10 below and miserable, on top of which he's at work. I'm walking home from the grocery store, and a half a block ahead of me is a cop. Well, not just a cop, but a fat cop. Well, I should be more specific. Not just a fat cop, but a big, fat Chicago cop, talking loudly on his cell phone. Just pacing across the sidewalk, throwing his weight around, talking real loud. I see something flopping around his belt line. What is that?